New costumes coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and these are some that I really want. Block content. What's happening, my block buddies, and welcome to a brand new episode of Blocked Content. My name is Callum, and this is going to be your content for today. Well, it's been really interesting. A lot of you guys pitched in with our previous discussion about the 3.0 update of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. There are a lot of things that people are expecting this update to have, and one thing that I would really love to have in this update is something that a lot of people have been speculating about. There actually have been reports on many of these things. Just think about the character Joker coming, and that there is potentially a female version of Joker coming. So a lot of crazy stuff out there. If the Erdrick rumor is true, there will also be a lot of different color variations of that character. What I would really love in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate 3.0 update would be the option to receive more character color variations, like I've seen a lot of you guys in the comments actually ask for, but not just color variations. But I feel like it would be really amazing to have some new costumes in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, hear me out, because there are costumes, like there are ideas for nearly every character, and I feel like one of the biggest ones to talk about is something like Dry Bowser, right? So in a lot of Mario Kart games, Dry Bowser is kind of this alternate character from Bowser, right? He's a more menacing version. Sometimes he's a little bit bigger. Sometimes he uses blue flame instead of red flame. Sometimes it's a little bit the other way around. Anyway, it's pretty crazy that this character kind of got a life of its own, almost like it's like a Metal Mario situation, where Metal Mario used to be like Mario's power-up in Mario 64, and then it turned to be a different character in Smash Brothers, and then in Mario Golf and stuff like that, even appearing in like Mario Kart as a different character with a different voice. So it's really strange, and that seemed to have happened with Bowser too, in that Dry Bowser form. Now, of course we know that in the new Super Mario Bros. Franchise, Bowser would disappear into the lava and then rise out as, of course, the Dry Bowser and then disappear again. So we know that it's basically Bowser with his skin melted off, which is crazy dark for a Mario game. I would love that character not to be an alternate character in the game, but just to be an alternate skin for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I feel like it would be amazing to have a character like that represented in the game. Very menacing, would fit very well with a character like Ridley in terms of style, and that makes you wonder what other crazy variations could happen on this kind of idea. Well, I thought it would be really cool to have an idea like Super Mario Odyssey. We all love all the crazy costumes that Mario can wear in Super Mario Odyssey, but none is more favorite than Mario's 64 outfit. So, you know, the classic, very blocky, polygonal style of Super Mario 64 that happened in Super Mario Odyssey. And I thought, how cool would it be, like a lot of these fan mods of Super Smash Bros. Wii U or Brawl, that you have these classic outfits for characters. So maybe Link could look like his version from the Nintendo 64, but a lot of fans would go crazy for like a Melee HD makeover, kind of like what they did with a character like Young Link now. So Young Link basically appears as he did in Melee, and sort of like an HD remake makeover. They could kind of do that route with a couple of these costumes, so we could potentially have the Twilight Princess Link again, kind of an Ocarina of Time Link again, maybe the old Super Smash Bros. Melee model of a character like Fox. I mean, the competitive part of the Smash Brothers fandom would go totally crazy about that. And of course, one of my favorites is, I love how Ganondorf looks in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I mean, that is a great design. It truly fits the character very well. Having those new sword moves is awesome, but I do feel like that Twilight Princess design is sort of like that disappointed father kind of idea, which I really love, and I think Sakurai loves that design too. It's bulky, it's angry, and it's a little bit rough around the edges, and it's not as sleek as the Ganondorf that we have now. So I feel like it would be incredible to have that old Ganondorf as well, the Twilight Princess version. And of course, talking about the Legend of Zelda franchise, we don't have to leave out Zelda herself, because I feel like Zelda is one of those characters that definitely benefits from all these design changes, right? I mean, we have this beautiful A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds design for Zelda now, which is beautiful and really awesome and very cheerful and fits her fighting stances and character very well. But of course, there are people that truly love Zelda's design in the Twilight Princess. I think that design is awesome. I would love to see a hooded version of that myself. I feel like in Twilight Princess, that was one of the coolest reveals ever, like Zelda being this hooded figure and very scary. I feel like we need these options to have these characters represented in Smash Brothers again. So all these designs that we've come to love. I mean, a lot of people were very unhappy with the way that Yoshi changed, where he was more like an upright fighter in the newer games, and he was kind of hunched over in the previous ones, in the original Smash and in Melee, and a little bit in Brawl as well. So I feel like a lot of those changes would be really cool for people. You know, that goes into the animation territory, which they are likely not going to touch. I would think it's really fun to have something like Little Mac be able to appear in his sort of old version, and not necessarily closer to his sprite, but it would be really cool to have him appear closer to his assist trophy version in Brawl. And of course, there are other variations that would work very well. I think that if we look at sort of fan mods, right, we could even see a Kid Icarus, Pit from Kid Icarus appear in the old classic style, and that trophy from Melee, if that's any indication, that's going to look really weird. But we've also seen an artist rendering in that from like Project M, and that also looked really, really awesome. If you think in terms of Megaman, yeah, a lot of people have been campaigning for a skin that is a lot like maybe X as Megaman. Of course, it would need different moves, so a lot of people just really want a different kind of Megaman as a separate character, right? They really want just X to be its own character, has its own moves. So I wouldn't touch that. There are people that really want 8-bit versions of these characters, so you basically switch between the character or a sprite version of that character. Now that, I know from experience because I animated these things, the Ridley 8-bit Smash Bros. Ultimate trailer, those things are very likely not happening. But I still think it's a really interesting idea. I also think that a lot of these characters are very grunged, very, realistic. And in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, they kind of brought back the whole Brawl vibe of things, which is pretty interesting to me. They're making things a little bit more realistic, and I think it would be really fun if it went back to that old style of, Mario could look a little bit more like he did in Odyssey. So very bright, his overalls very blue, the red of his hat and all that. So the visual styles could also interpret more from their original games. So there's a lot of possibilities for costumes. I think simple colors would be great if we were to get anything, and just having colors back from the original Smash games would be so cool. Just think of the black and white Kirby again. That would be a very welcome return. There are costumes for DK that I've wanted back for a very long time. And of course, where is our Fire Mario? That is one big missing costume to me. And another couple of shoo-ins that never really made the cut. I feel like there are some very simple ideas and characters even like Wario that used to have so many costumes that are now just relegated to a lot less just because the rest kind of needs to balance and even out. I wouldn't mind at all if some characters got more costumes than others, but if there is a 3.0 update and they do include some new color variations, then we definitely want the big ones back. So I would say definitely Fire Mario has to return in that instance. And there are a couple of costumes like the ones from Link, of course, that don't really translate that well because we now have the Breath of the Wild Link, which kind of throws a little bit of sand in that whole ordeal. But I really feel like it could be awesome to have characters look a little bit more like their original counterparts from some games, right? A Luigi that looks a little bit closer to Luigi's Mansion, so a little bit of a muted color palette. A Donkey Kong that looks a little bit closer to Donkey Kong's original games, right? Or maybe even a color palette that speaks a little bit more to the original Donkey Kong game on the NES. So many possibilities with this, and I'm really curious to hear what you guys' ideas are on costumes and colors. Is there a color that maybe disappeared throughout the years in Smash Bros. That you really want back, that you're like, how could they take that color out? It's been there for years. I certainly have that. Is there a costume idea that you think is really awesome? I don't think that they'll change the characters, right? So there won't be like a Sans outfit for like Ness or something. But I do feel like having sort of these model swaps would be great. Like Alf and Olimar would be a great idea for that, with maybe like Blood Falcon or something like that. That is really interesting to me, to have these different characters, but they're still represented by the same character. I know they don't do it with Dr. Mario, but I could really see a Dr. Luigi outfit just for Luigi, even though it kind of is strange that that would be a costume, but Dr. Mario would be its own character. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think of this. If you have any color ideas, I want to see them in the comments down below, and I'll feature one in the next video. So here's something cool. You guys can actually decide what I make a video about next, because block content is on Patreon. If you want to support the channel, actually become a part of it, well, there's many cool rewards: getting episodes early, your own video ideas commissioned, we do that a lot for Snake Codex, personal Skype calls with me, and just exclusive content you won't get anywhere else. So big thanks to all our patrons right now. It's been really great to have you guys on board, and I can't wait for the future of Patreon with block content, because there's a lot of things coming. Remember, if you're not yet a member of the block content squad yet, our family, well, click the subscribe button. All the news and fun you care about will be delivered daily to you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you around the corner where there's always more blocked content. See ya.